Randy is a systems specialist at Spruce, and Joe is the manager of maintenance. They've recently added a SootOpt system on top of their combustion opt system, and they're here today to give us a few insights about that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got going with that system, what the initial justification was?
One of the justifications for installing SootOpt was we had some concern in our economizer area, a lot of boiler tube wear, and which resulted from too much soot blowing in the area. So the justification process was started in about April of 2010, utilizing the high blower areas. Of course, with the implementation, we were expecting a heat rate improvement, which we are now seeing. And one of the key points was the visit we made to Toke Power Plant back in October of '09. Getting the operations interaction, they were very happy with it. Most operators we talked to said they just turn it on, leave it on, and it's one less thing they have to worry about. So we brought all that information back to the plant, wrote up the justification, and got buy-in from our plant management. We started the project in May of 2010.
Excellent. Thanks again. So if you could just elaborate a little bit on the goals for the SootOpt system and how you have been achieving those goals.
Yeah, like I said, the economizer, we had some concern in there in the high wear areas, so we are expecting to reduce the soot blowing in the economizer areas, which should result in an improvement in heat rate. So superheat and reheat temperature controls, we want to keep them balanced between the A and B sides, and especially during any load ramps or any excursions on load. Another thing is to maintain air preheater inlet temperatures at about 800 degrees or even less to reduce the temperatures going out to our scrubber. And main thing, while we're doing all this, of course, working with combustion opt, we're maintaining our NOx at our goal, which is 0.125, and at the same time getting our CO limits around 100 ppm.
Why don't you tell us about how things have changed at the plant since you've added SootOpt? What did operations look like before, and how are things now that you have the system in place?
Before SootOpt, of course, our Diamond Power system is a standalone system, so it's the operators would go up there and run sequences. So we had sequences built based on some high wear areas and stuff, but basically it was just an operator initiated sequence, and anytime they felt their temperatures were getting up in certain areas, they would run their certain sequences. Some sequences that were just used to running, 2 or 3 times a day, or sometimes even 4 times a day. But with SootOpt now, we have better control whether which shift is on or whoever blows the sequences. With SootOpt, we can control the number of blows, and which results in reduced blowing in the SootOpt in the economizer area. So.
Great. And I know a lot of people considering investing in the technology is what resources are actually required at the plant, from the plant, for implementation?
Right away we knew we were going to have our INC team involved. Combustion Opt did have plant champion Randy Davis, who was, we were fortunate to have him again, along with Blaine Carrillo, to help implement the system. Some of the areas of concern was just how we were going to interact with the Allen Bradley, which is a standalone system. Between Randy and Blaine and NUCO, we came up with a good resolution on how to accomplish that. So what seemed to be something difficult to begin and turned out to be fairly easy as working together as a team to get those problems solved. Once we got the system going and everything, which we're currently going through some final tuning stages, I interact with Bill Morrow, who was our project installer of NUCO. So, any changes that we might see, we get the operations manager involved, Robert Pacina, who's been with CPS at Spruce for for quite a while. So using his expertise, before any changes are made, we get approval from Robert and make sure we're all in agreement and to continue to tune the system, which is going to take a few months and some patience with operations and stuff, but it's going very well, and not only with Bill but with Vicus and their customer support.
Thanks, Joe. I know one of the things that our applications engineering team and our customer support team comments on is how involved the operators are. They provide great feedback, and it seems like you have a really good process there for keeping things going. Have you gotten and maintained the operations involvement?
Again, like Randy mentioned, with the combustion op, with SootOpt, we have to leave the system on to see its results. So we did. Bill Morrow did leave his card and number with operations, and operations does not hesitate to call Bill anytime they see an excursion or any issues at the plant. So that's one of the buy-ins we have with operations, and they don't hesitate to call Bill and ask any questions. And if it's minor stuff, they'll email me and Robert, and we'll get with Vicus and Bill and get together and try and brainstorm and see what's going on and to continue these tuning stages.
Great. So to put optimization in context a little bit, why don't you tell us about how the SootOpt system, the combustion op systems, interact with your other hardware systems in the plant and control systems? Randy?
Like Joe said, our soot blowing system is a standalone HMI system. So we installed OPC on that HMI and allowed us to get the information into our PI historian. So we're able to write back and forth between the HMI and with the DCS through the PI.